there's one more bit to come. We're going to have some closing remarks from Jane Pendlebury. When she has finished speaking, not before, but when she has finished speaking, please get out, because the team will want to turn this room into the place for us to have dinner. They haven't got very long, so don't linger. If you want to have a nice chat with somebody, have it out there. I'll see you again at 7 o'clock. Thanks very much.
Right. How to summarise in 8 minutes, a 7-hour day. So, first of all, I've just got to say, if anyone's lost their phone, security have got one. I'll forget to say that if I don't say that straight away. So if you've lost your phone, it's with security. A whistle-stop tour of what we've done today. We started off with Peter, and Peter's been brilliant all day long, as he is year after year, at keeping us all on time with such grace and charm. So thank you very much, Peter. And then we went on to, yes. Oh. I'd love to say clap after everyone, but we'll run out of time. But maybe Harry needs one too. But Harry, with his State of the Nation chat, absolutely marvellous, and switches from AI and technology through to humanity and kindness, all in the same words, and that was brilliantly delivered. And thank you for everything that you do, Harry. And likewise, Chris Coles. Chris Coles, who is our new chair, I just want to thank him for his marvellous support. It's been amazing what he's done in his short time as chair, and actually prior to that, and all the HOSPA directors who are actually getting a lot more involved. I've got to be careful what I wish for, but they are all great, so I think it's fine. And then we went on to Thomas Pugh from RSM, talking about the budget forecast, which he says is going to be very bleak. Maybe lots of tax rises, but hopefully lots of smaller ones. Well, maybe, hopefully, it depends how you look at it, I guess. But he did, as ever, come up with some positives on falling inflation, falling interest rates, and perhaps we're a little bit less miserable. So who knows? We can only hope. Mark from BDO, who we love working with year in, year out, he said lots of really wise words, but what really I noticed was that our average daily spend in the UK in September 2025 was £55.26. I thought that was a really interesting stat. And the top travel spend being in travel, so that's really interesting as well. That took us straight on to Katie from Barclays, who's a new speaker to us here at HOSPA, and she was saying there's a shift from spending on goods from spending on goods to experiences, and she particularly highlighted golf, which came up again later on as that is a big growth area, especially in October this year, apparently. Then very grateful to David Goodman from Duetto, who stood in at the last minute for Mike from Hotstats, who told us about some flat revenues. We do try and keep a positive spin on everything. Labour cost challenges, but he championed Cardiff on Mike's behalf. So there is good out there, and Cardiff is one to watch as a city, and if we can follow what they do. Thank you to Peter Heath from Venue Performance. Really, I think his words were, although there may be fewer events, the spend is higher and ignore it at your peril. And that came along later as well, which I will touch on. Thank you to Alessandra from Focus on Hospitality with Ross. And my little note there was, AI makes your team brilliant and not redundant. And I think that's maybe a message we do need to get out there to all the people in our business who are worried about AI. Makes your team brilliant, not redundant. So don't forget that one. Thank you also to Scott, who ran a very quick session with Duncan and Gus about knowing your customer. And what I liked about that one was how we can use technology in every single example, even when they're wearing swimwear. We can put a wristband on them, so that's all great. Between the morning break and lunch, we had the workshops. There were 6 of them. I couldn't go to all 6, so I'm not going to talk about any of them. They are all recorded and will be on the website, hopefully, within the next, probably, maybe next week if we're lucky, but they're all there, so you'll see them. After lunch, I had a lovely chat with Janelle, our new head of professional development, and we talked about our new M&E, our meetings and event course development, so please look out for that. And then we had that panel of female experts. It was our only single-sex panel, and it was pretty expertly moderated by Janelle, but also some brilliant news there on meetings and events. And it was an absolute joy sitting next to Harry and hearing his approval. I kept saying, yes, absolutely, yes. So it was good that struck a chord. And yes, maybe this is the hidden gem for future profitability, so have a good look at your meetings and events. that went very naturally into the presentation from Paul Davidson from Team 9 on behalf of Howden, talking about Martin's Law. So a very serious topic on the tourism threat, but he explained it really clearly and explained what we have to do, and it's not necessarily about spending a lot of money, it's just by getting all your ducks in a row and your paperwork sorted. I then had that lovely warm, it was fireside chat, and it was really very warm with Varian and Sharon. So Varian from the Headland and Sharon from Net Affinity. So I was very grateful for them, for their time. And then we had Henrietta from Adjin. I think what stood out there was how she truly understood the day-to-day issues of hospitality and how a payment system can actually solve a lot of those little niggles on a guest's pathway. So I thought that was really good. Patrick and Danielle then talked about digital Darwinism and how we have to adapt to survive, which I think has been a theme of today as well. And then we had the brilliant panel moderated by Ryan, who we always can rely on to deliver a lovely, upbeat, energetic event. And he was really, really good and talked about the feel-good hospitality and feel-good factor in hospitality and how working out the ROI isn't as simple as our finance leaders might suggest, and it's what's good for the guest, what's good for the team, as well as the bottom line. And we mustn't just look at ROI as a bottom line return on investment. It's got to be good for the guest and the team as well. That's another way of looking at it. And then the most recent one was the leaders panel. So hopefully you all, I don't think anyone's come in since that finished, but they're all such high flyers and so understated. So thank you, Caroline, for moderating that panel so well. And all the leaders were fantastic, and we really appreciate your valuable time because we know how busy you all are. So thank you. And thank you too for the Q&A from the audience. Because that always keeps it all very alive. And what I learned is you really have got to love this industry. We all do, so we must keep it that way. Running out of time. Big thank you to all our sponsors and exhibitors, which we're going to flick up onto the screen now. That's our sponsors, next one's exhibitors. And then there's going to be a QR code for feedback. So as Louisa said in the leaders panel just now, we can't improve without your feedback. So please do give us your feedback. It's lovely when it's lovely, but it's really valuable when we've got some stuff to learn. So please do be honest. We've got networking drinks any minute now, thanks to 14IP. There should be champagne out there as soon as you go through the doors, so enjoy that. And then dinner starts at 7. So as Peter says, they haven't got long to turn this room around. But please go and enjoy the drinks party. If you're not staying for dinner but want to, there are still a couple of spaces, so just let our desk know. And tonight we'll be celebrating more winners in hospitality. So thanks all very much for all your attention today. Have a party tonight.